And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays. Fanboys, we hope your day is going terrible. We hope your days continue to go terrible as long as you continue to cap for the false king. We hope the terrible days never end for you. And so, LeBron James made the biggest mistake of his career when he decided to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers the first time. He made the biggest mistake of his career because he abandoned what could have been a similar path to the real number 23, the guy he so desperately wants to be like without having to put in the work. And him leaving Cleveland was an example of that. But LeBron James missed his opportunity to turn a losing franchise into a dynasty. And we all know he left. He goes to Miami, where he forms the first player-created super team, and he underperforms. He underachieves by only winning 2 championships. Couldn't even get a three-peat with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh by his side. And then he leaves and goes back to Cleveland, supposedly to repair the broken hearts that he left, to repair the damage he left to the franchise, and bring a championship to Cleveland. And through luck and Kyrie Irving, he was able to do that. Through some injuries to the Golden State Warriors and through a BS call that got Draymond kicked out, suspended, and through the one-on-one skills, which LeBron James deems is not real basketball, through the one-on-one skills of Kyrie Irving and hitting a fantastic shot and playing great throughout the series. Kyrie Irving had a 40-point game during that series. And through those means, LeBron James was able to fulfill his dream of bringing a championship to Cleveland. And when it was all said and done, he let everybody know about it on that ridiculous The Shop podcast by saying, I was just so ecstatic of 52-year drought of Cleveland, and that one right there made you the GOAT. That one right there made you the GOAT. You did something special. LeBron James declares himself the GOAT for coming back 3-1 in that series. Again, and LeBron James fanboys were as happy as they could be, and they agreed with their king, and they danced in the streets, while the rest of the logical basketball fans were saying, hey, if you're the GOAT, why were you down 3-1? Why were you down 3-1 if you're the GOAT? But okay. He made that happen, and this has been a big talking point of his career. Everybody uses it, mainstream media, LeBron James himself and LeBron James fanboys, they love to talk about that block again, but if Kyrie hits the 3, they win anyway. They love to talk about this 3-1 comeback and how amazing it was. And so with all that said, LeBron James went on to win one more meaningless championship in 2020. And the antics have just been increasing and increasing. LeBron James has been showing more and more lack of regard for the integrity of the game, for the integrity of the sport, all the while double talking out his mouth, trying to pretend like he's the greatest competitor, trying to pretend like he would walk away if he couldn't give his all on the court, while he hasn't been giving his all in years. And so last year, a lot of things were brewing. We started hearing, he started the ridiculous It's Just a Game podcast with JJ Redick, where the claims were that they were starting this podcast because they were tired of the media comparing players and not just sticking to basketball. They were tired of that. So they wanted a podcast where they could just talk basketball and X's and O's. And lo and behold, what do you know? Coming from LeBron James and his minion, who goes out there in the mainstream media himself to try to denigrate eras of the past and discredit eras of the past. What do you know, on this podcast where they say they just want to talk about basketball, we start hearing LeBron James try to put his spin on the narratives out there about himself, like, for instance, 2011. We hear LeBron James try to pretend as if somehow that wasn't a super team because, yeah, they may have had a big three, but hey, people, the rest were minimum guys. They may have put together a big three, and they may have been bragging before they had played one game together, talking about not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven. They may have been bragging about how many championships they were going to win. But now that they only got 2 championships, they couldn't even get a three-peat. Now, looking back, it was minimum guys. Now, looking back on 2011, the reason that happened was because they only had a big three, people. They only had a big three. LeBron James did not get to choose every man on the roster. So what do you expect? How could you expect LeBron James to succeed if he doesn't get to choose every starter and every guy on the bench? Of course, 2011 happened. We got to see LeBron James brag about how much of a basketball savant he is, because at 8 years old, he could flip plays from one side of the court to the other. Round of applause for LeBron James. That's genius, people. He was able at 8 years old to take a play that was meant to be ran on the right side of the floor and flip it to be ran on the left side of the floor. Round of applause for LeBron James, the genius, people. And so we're seeing this podcast, and then we start hearing rumors that JJ Redick may be the coach of the Lakers. And in the midst of all of this, we're also hearing rumors that LeBron James' son will be drafted by the Lakers. And as we're hearing all this, I'm starting to think to myself, this is very exciting, people. This is very exciting, not for basketball, not for the betterment of the game, but just sheer, let's see how much LeBron James can run the NBA into the ground before he retires. Let's just see. This is an interesting show we're watching here. And so we're hearing about all these things. And in some video, I can't remember which video it was last season, but I said this. I said, you know what would really make me happy? I said, I don't think it's going to happen. But what would really make me happy is if somehow Donovan Mitchell was able to bring a championship to Cleveland. And lo and behold, people, the Cavs are doing fantastic this season so far. They just beat the False King fanboys. They just beat your False King with Austin Reeves putting in a 35-point performance. I think AD had 28. LeBron James had 22 or 23 or something, whatever it wasn't enough. But hey, it's more stats to add to that all-time leading scorer total. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, as of beating the Lakers, were 29-4. And Donovan Mitchell has been playing great. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been playing great. When they got off to a good start this season, I thought, well, you know, so did the Lakers. The Lakers got off to a good start too. We knew that wasn't going to last. So I didn't want to get my hopes up. But as we go further and further, Cleveland seems to be holding up to the test. And I don't think it's out the realm of possibility now for the Cleveland Cavaliers to be a champion this season. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but it is much more possible than when I said this last season. When I said last season that nothing would make me happier than if Cleveland was able to win, if Donovan Mitchell was able to lead Cleveland to a championship, nothing would make me happier. I did not think they were going to be doing this well this season. Now, why did I say nothing would make me happier? So let's get to it, people. Here's the question. If Donovan Mitchell brings a ring, brings a championship trophy to Cleveland, does it hurt the legacy of the Duck, the dear Lebron James? I say it absolutely does. This is why I want it to happen. Why does it hurt the legacy of the Duck? Because that is one of the Ducks' biggest claim to fame, is bringing that championship to Cleveland. But while LeBron did it after leaving Cleveland in a very low integrity way, going and forming a super team, leaving Miami because Miami was getting old and he saw new blood in Cleveland and Kyrie Irving, going to Cleveland, having Kyrie and Kevin Love, and he's able to win this 2016 championship. This is his biggest claim to fame. But however, if Donovan Mitchell is able to do it, I think it is much more significant than what LeBron James did. I think what Donovan Mitchell doing is much more significant this season. Donovan Mitchell is, to me, playing like a real leader. And that is, in a sense, he's leading by example. He's leading by example. He doesn't have a hand-picked team around him. He's getting the most out of his teammates. And if Donovan Mitchell is able to pull off a championship somehow this season, well, that just makes that championship that LeBron James got a little less significant. I actually think it will actually take some of the admiration away from him for Cleveland fans, because I believe right now a lot of people in Cleveland like LeBron because he came back and won that championship. But I also think there's still an underlying resentment there, because I cannot tell you the amount of people who I run into from Cleveland that I have talked basketball with, and they all think Michael Jordan is the GOAT. While this is no surprise because most people in the world think Michael Jordan is the GOAT, it's a little surprising being that these people are from Cleveland. You would think that these people from Cleveland would be backing their so-called They're a manufactured GOAT. You would think that they would be backing this guy. But I ran into a few people from Cleveland who, you know, they like LeBron James, but they all acknowledge that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Because I believe there's still an underlying resentment there from how LeBron James left the first time. I don't think that goes away just because you come back and win a championship. I'm sure the fans of Cleveland are ecstatic to have a championship, no doubt. But again, I don't think that erases what he did by leaving Cleveland in the way that he did. So, yeah, I believe if Donovan Mitchell can bring a championship won the right way to Cleveland, that it will indeed, it'll hurt LeBron's legacy. I believe it makes LeBron's win in Cleveland less significant. Of course, except to the LeBron James fanboys, I can already hear you in the comments, and we all do not care what you think at all. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If the Cleveland Cavaliers are able to win a championship this season, will that put a damper on LeBron James' 2016 championship, thus putting a damper on his legacy? Because that is one of the biggest things on his legacy that him and his 3.5 and 6 Kingdom love to use to try to bolster his legacy. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.